So you're ready to start building your website for your business, but you might be feeling a little bit overwhelmed, and that is totally okay because you've come to the right place. Josh is here to take you through the first and most important step, which is finding and purchasing your domain.
Okay, welcome. Josh Weber here with Big Red Jelly. I'm going to walk you through the process of finding and purchasing a domain name, or in other words, registering a domain name. Okay, so first, what's a domain name? The best way that I like to describe it is a domain name is your identity on the internet, right? Other words for a domain name are your URL, your website link. You might hear people say that. It's the www.joshswebsite.com. It doesn't have to be .com, right? Many of you have probably seen .net, .co, .org, .biz. There's a lot of them out there. But .com is probably the most popular. So why is a domain name important? Because when you register or purchase a domain name, like let's say joshswebsite.com, there's only one of those out there that exist, right? So when you buy a domain name, you buy it from what's called a registrar. And I'm going to show you how to get it through digital.bigredjelly.com. Once you purchase that domain name, you're the only one that has that link or that identity. You're essentially booking some space on the internet. You're reserving a room on the internet. That is your space. And with that domain, with that link, you can now build a website or an online platform where people can type in the domain into the search bar and then be directed to your beautiful website, right? So the very first step for many business owners or entrepreneurs or people who want to start to do work or business or any type of work online, the very first step is to go get a domain. And that's always my suggestion to people when they even start thinking about a website or launching a business or a blog is, hey, do you have a domain? Have you purchased a domain name? So let's go to digital.bigredjelly.com. And as you can see, the very first thing here that we see is a domain search. So I'm going to search for Jambalaya Josh, as if I am starting a Southern cuisine restaurant where I'm going to be making exquisite jambalaya. The first thing I need before I dive in and start building my website is I need that domain. So I'm going to type in Jambalaya Josh. Okay, now I don't have to put in .com right now. I can just put in the name and then I can click search. Make sure that it's spelled correctly. I have encountered people who have made that mistake. They went as far as bought a domain name and then they realized that there was a small misspelling, right? Now, luckily, and this is very important, probably one of your immediate questions is how expensive is a domain? Well, it depends on the domain. If you pick something very common like Colorado attorney, right? It's probably taken, but if it's available, it's probably going to be very expensive because it uses two very general terms, right? So you do want to find a domain that reflects your business name or whatever platform you're launching. You don't want to be super different, right? So if my restaurant's called Jambalaya Josh, I don't want my domain to be Southern Cuisine with Mr. Weber.com. That's too long. It's not related to my logo because when people see the name and the logo, you're going to assume that the domain is very similar. So try to pick a domain that is related to your logo. It's related to your business name. It's relatively short. If it's super long, it's going to be frustrating for people to type that in. So here you can see Jambalaya Josh. You can see that what pops up usually up at the top is going to be recommended domains, .com being the first one, and then there's .net, .co, and then it will also add in some some alternatives. Right now, it doesn't really pick up that what jambalaya is, but many times you might search for Josh the dentist, and then it would suggest Josh dentist or dentist with Josh here in the recommendations. So you can, from the search bar, now select your domain. Another popular question that I get a lot is, should I buy more than one domain? My suggestion is, if you're serious about your business, if you plan on your brand really growing, then it's worth the cost. As you can see here, $18.69, $19.99, this is per year, right? So again, per year cost, It's pretty affordable. It does add up though if you're buying 3, 4, 5 domains. But again, if you're serious about your brand or your business, it's worth registering and purchasing the other extensions here, right? So .net, .co, .org. That's important because A, it removes those options from competitors or squatters, people who just go buy domains just to kind of sit on them and hope that a business wants to buy their domain. So why not buy extensions that are related, right? Once I get here, I can find the domain that I want. I can select the domain. I can select more domains, and then I can continue to my cart. This will redirect to the checkout page where it will have more details here. I can choose to add privacy and protection. People say, do I need this? My recommendation is, and this isn't just to upsell, but my recommendation is yes. When you buy a domain and you check out, it is your contact information is there for people to see, not your payment information. But what that means is that you will probably receive or start receiving a decent amount of spam emails and calls because your contact info is now listed on the official registrar. That's just the way that these domain registrars are set up. So I do recommend adding domain privacy and protection. It protects your domain, and it's going to limit substantially the amount of spam that you receive. Right? Then you're going to continue to cart, you're going to check out, and just like that, you have your domain. So the next question is, well, now what do I do with my domain? Tune into the next video where we'll talk about, okay, now that you have your domain, how to build your website, design your website, and then launch your website by connecting your website to the domain that you purchased. That way, when someone visits jambalaya.josh.com, boom, they get taken right to my awesome website and come to my restaurant, and they're very happy. That's it from me. Tune in for the next video.